Yo, 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 no maniacs, what's good? Good afternoon. This is Nomad Live, all bears all the time, in conjunction with Sports Zone Chicago and the SuperBack, who is running late today, but will be here. Sports Zone Chicago, man. Hey, look, fellas. Hey, I'm starting to get my good energy back, guys. Um, it's been a rough 24 to 48 hours, man. That's the best thing I could say about the whole thing. Rough. I mean, rough. And just as I'm getting my good energy back, I come into the green room a little late, and here Kedz has on the playing in the background. Had the Bears got fleeced by Pittsburgh. And I'm just like, oh no. But I'm not gonna let that get my spirits down, man. It's a pretty rough time still for the Bears fans. But I would tell you guys this wound will heal. We got to find a way to get re-energized and get happy about the potential that might be in front of us. It's not what we wanted. Some of us Bears fans feel jilted by the situation, and we've been going over that last night, all night during the show. But I know Shawn's going to have something to say about all that, and so that'll probably be the last of it. But let me start out with some pleasantries from the guys here.
Yo, 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 no maniacs. Thanks for representing with us on a Monday. Should be a fun show. We'll go through some of the shifts and changes and pains and emotion over the last, over what transpired over the weekend. But outside of that, thanks for your love, thanks for your support, and bear down. Let's get at it. Keith?
No maniac sports zoners. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. It is Monday, a new week and a new start of talking about Bears football. So we're just gonna move forward, get everything going and cracking today. Nomad, what's going on, brother?
Well, what's on my mind is the possibilities. With 4 draft picks and the potential at number one drafting a quarterback, staying there, or the potential of getting to number two and taking another quarterback. Um, what I've been hearing is, just this is just me gathering the same information anybody else can go get out there. Um, the word is that the Bears are still not sure about who they want to take at number one. They're not sure about Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams has, and everybody knows this. Don't get mad at me, but has kind of insinuated in hints that he may or may not want to come here. However, I do believe this: um, if everything checks out, the Bears are going to want to do it. On Caleb Williams' side of it, if he's smart, I think he would not object to coming to Chicago. Why? Because this is one of the best built situations I've ever seen a rookie quarterback being drafted at number one come into. Because usually, rookie quarterbacks that's coming in and getting drafted at number one, that's a pretty torn down team, and they're trying to rebuild usually, right? And so he's coming in here to a built, pretty stacked looking roster, man. It's getting more stacked by the day because I believe we have like approximately 31 million in cap. About 10 about 10 of that is going to get used for rookies, 10 million or so. But there's still room to get either a couple more pieces or one more nice piece if they want to. With 31 million, you could probably do a 12 to 15 million dollar contract per se at Chase Young or somebody like that if you want. And so in my opinion, if I were Caleb Williams and the options were here or Washington, I like what this team is built for right now. But we're going to get into the pressurized situation that he's going to be put into later. But let's just talk about that. The ideas of if he wants to come here or not and why he should come here.
Team set up for him. We'll give him that much, right? It's definitely set up for him to have some level of success. I'll probably rephrase that and just sort of say it's set up for just about any quarterback to come in here and not necessarily have to be Superman. And that quarterback should be able to take the team to the playoffs in some capacity. At least that's my thoughts there. That's not my expectation. I do want to set that. My expectations are much lower, just to give whoever the young man is the opportunity to get there. But that's my thoughts on it. Keith, what do you think?
Well, the team is definitely set up for a quarterback to be successful, depending on who that quarterback is. Um, I will say this because of the hype surrounding one particular quarterback, um, he's going to have to come in and hit the ground running. I get it, he's a rookie. But again, as I stated last night, and I'm going to stand on this, because of how he's been billed, He's got to come in and and fill some shoes, man. There's some expectations placed upon him, and truthfully told, man, hey, he's walking around with that bravado as well. So um, let's see what he's gonna do. But I think it's set up for any quarterback. And if the Bears are not quite sure on who they want to take, that's not good either.
Well, the truth is, there are several things that could play out. We could be totally speculating a little too much, but then totally, absolutely right about the idea that Caleb. I've seen, and RG3 has a video circulating around social media right now that's going wildfire, and he's kind of saying in that video that if I was Caleb Williams, given the history of the Chicago Bears, I'd do just like Eli Manning did and tell them, I'm not coming here. If that means I got to sit out a year, then that means I sit out a year. But that's there's been I've got reason to believe that's a possibility. I don't know how strong it is, but if he's dead set on not wanting to play for Chicago, then that could be a problem, man. I don't know how they play that in that scenario other than go draft Jaden Daniels. But to be quite frank with you, I hope that doesn't come to that, man, because if he's good as all these experts say he is, I see all the traits in him, but I see some flaws in him too. I think the way that he can become successful here is if they basically exactly what we were saying that they needed to do with Justin, tailor the scheme to fit what he's good at, right? Instead of trying to make him play into something that that they want, the type of offense that they want. Find out what he does well and run that. And so I think if he comes here and just settles his mind on, I can play for this team and I can get it done. I know he doesn't have a problem with pressure, and playing big games. I don't think that's going to be a problem for him at all. I think where he may run into problems is some of the off the field stuff in the locker room, things like that, just gelling with people. I could foresee that being a problem. But I think if he's smart, he'd come here because this is a built situation for him.
Yeah, I think it's they're not in a good position. Again, they're trading folks left, right, and center. We got their superstar defensive end. Let the other one go to go to San Francisco. Now he's a free agent. Then again, they still got Terry McLaurin out there catching passes. They still got Jahan Dotson out there catching passes. Say that 3 times fast. In any event, it wouldn't be a terrible place for him to go if he decided to play hardball and go home. But I think this team is ready for him. I think it is. I think it was set up for him, and I think it's ready for him. And I think playing hardball here, I think playing hardball here is going to make a lot of people look silly. A, Caleb Williams, B, Ryan Poles. Like Ryan Poles his entire existence will be a fried egg on his eye. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what else to say there. But if I don't see anything like that happening. I don't think. I wish I could say I don't think Caleb has the stroke to pull it off. If you're the first player to come out of college with $1 million in your pocket, let alone $11 million in your pocket. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like he's in a bit of a different position than everybody else. He could just decide, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do something else. I'm making money anyhow.
Keith, if you don't mind, let me answer this by Slick Sophistication right quick. Slick Sophistication is saying, "What's up, Slick?" He's saying, "Nomad, please ask what should be the season expectations for the Bears? ? I think Poles will be fired by Kevin Warren. He wanted to keep Fields. That's we brought that up last night, man, and quite frankly, it might sound conspiracy theory-ish when I say this. There could be a faction of the front office that really want to keep him. Who they were, I don't know, but it could have been a faction that obviously was a faction of it that didn't want to keep him and thought that we can get a better quarterback, obviously. And so if it was Kevin Warren that wanted to keep Justin Fields and they went against the grain and said, you know what? And he went against the grain and said, you know what? This is my opinion, but I'm gonna lean on you guys because you're football people. You guys are the coaches and the general manager, and you guys need to make that decision. I'll just leave you with my opinion. And if they went with the rookie quarterback, given the circumstances, and he doesn't come out of the gate being successful, and this is a losing team at the beginning of the season, I think it's gonna be Flus more than it's gonna be Ryan Poles. But I wouldn't exempt possibility that Ryan Poles could get it too, but I think it'll be Flus first.
Yeah, it's 100 billion% Flus first, right? So we went back and forth on this pretty deep last night. I have to admit. My stance is this. I don't, and me and Keith are going to go at it right now here in a minute. So my stance is that I don't want the fan base to hold this new young quarterback to task and say, playoffs or bust, Super Bowl or bust. I'm going to preface that with saying, basically, he just joined a playoff caliber team, right? Like if we won 3 more games, which we probably could have won last season, we would have been in the playoffs last season. So I would like to think that maybe the Bears should make the playoffs this coming season. Once more, my expectation for Caleb Williams as the Bears quarterback is I have to temper that and hold it a little bit south of what it could be. Keith kind of put things down for me yesterday, and it's not a question of really even being an argument because I have to agree with him. And how you put it down, Keith, was basically like this. You said, Caleb Williams has been touted as a generational talent. He's been touted as the next Patrick Mahomes. He's this, he's that, and the third. He's a superstar. He's Superman. He's all these things. And that's great. And we'll find out whether he is or he is not. But some fans will carry that as the expectation, especially those who were really and truly rooting to have Justin Fields as their QB1 next year. And it's a bit of a weird dynamic. And why I kind of stepped forward and gave you both sides of it is that there's really only one person that I hold to task for all this. It's not a personality contest, and I don't think it ever really was. This is Ryan Poles. So personally, at the end of the season, regardless as to the outcome, you're right, Nomad. Matt Eberflus may or may not be the head coach of the Chicago Bears at the end of the season. He's in win now mode. He has to make the playoffs. If he doesn't, I'm pretty sure he'll feel a fair amount of backlash. Ryan Poles' scapegoat is, we had Justin, we got rid of him. We had Getsy, we got rid of him. We kept this guy and gave him a chance, and he failed, so we're going to get rid of him too. Which, again, leads us back into that cycle full swing.
Ooh, that's a lot to peel back here.
When I start talking, kids, I'm going to need you to help me out with the chat because we had to get a little too much.
Go ahead, Keith.
It's a lot to dive into. Let me see. What order do I want to take this? Let's take it in order like this. Caleb wanting to play here versus wanting to be in Washington based off of what's been built here in Chicago thus far. I would say this. Yes, they have done a good job with adding pieces to the roster during this offseason. Absolutely. Is it built for any quarterback to step into and should be successful right away? Yes. With that being said, would Caleb be wrong for not wanting to come here? I'm going to give that a yes as well. Not because of what's been built, but because of what he has seen and heard over this past couple months with regard to the vitriol that was pointed at and toward the incumbent, now formerly gone QB. Does he want to step into something like that versus, hey, I can go and be the hometown hero? Yes, there will be some expectations placed upon me, but I won't have to deal with a fan base that the minute I do anything wrong, they're going to turn their backs on me like they did the other QB. Now, one of you guys had mentioned Chicago opting for what they consider a better QB. Let's dig into that for a quick moment. Chicago, do we really know what a better QB looks like? As a fan base, for years, we've always said, oh, we need a great quarterback. But what do we really know what that looks like? We're looking at it based off of other teams and the successes of other teams have had, correct? But as an organization, as a coaching staff,
Sort of. So I'm gonna.
I know what a damn good quarterback look like.
Me too, and because we've been beaten soundly by them all, right? Like it doesn't. What we don't know and what we have yet to recognize is the development of a quarterback in Chicago.
That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going with this, kids. Which is the fact that for us to say that we know what that looks like, yet we, as an organization that's now been around for, I'm just going to put out, let's say, been around for 100 years, they haven't done it. They failed each and every time. And there's too long of a list to go down in terms of quarterbacks that they have drafted, even ones that they've thrown money at as free agents or traded for. They've never have been successful on the offensive side of the ball when it comes to developing players. Wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, we've had success. And even with that, we can probably count on one hand the number of running backs that's truly been successful since Walter Payton's departure. So I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on that. I just wanted to point that out. And with regards to the hot seat, will Flus be on the hot seat? Absolutely. Because Poles, once again, pulled a masterful plan by insulating himself. And he's on the hot, and Flus has been placed on the hot seat by his own GM, who they seem to have been in lockstep all the way up to this point. But Poles took the safe route, and instead of saying, you know what, I inherited this team with another regime's quarterback that was drafted into a bad situation. I didn't help matters none because I completely tore everything down. I didn't give him anything other than replacement players the first year that I took over to work with. And let's be true and honest about it. I gave him one weapon besides one that he already had, which was in Cole Kmet. I gave him one weapon to work with last season in DJ-Moore. So instead of taking accountability and saying, I didn't do right by the guy, I'm going to give him this year, since I finally think we have the offensive coaching staff to get a real job done and develop a player, I'm going to give this guy a chance. Instead, he took the safer bet and crumbled under some pressure, I feel, and decided to trade this guy away for a pack of now and laters. And instead,
a bag of nickels and a ham sandwich.
Instead, I'm going to go ahead and draft a quarterback, which is, again, repetitive of what the Bears do each and every time. Instead of dealing with the issue, they sweep it under the rug and repeat it again. And what do? They go and draft another quarterback. And that's what they're doing again. So, again, as much as has changed, a lot stays the same.
Well, I'm gonna say this, man. And Ked, if you can pick up the slack in the chat, bro.
I got you.
I'm gonna say this, man, because quite frankly, I'm to the point where I'm digesting this whole thing. I do have the same feelings y'all got about, how this went down. What, the way it transpired was crazy, in my opinion. To get what you got in return for them, that's one. And to not, kind of, I'm a player's player, man. I got trained and taught by coaches that were real good at coaching. And I'm one of those people that feels like you lean into coaching when you got something going on. And, I think they missed an opportunity with Justin. But that being said, I have to be open enough to believe that, these people think they know what they're doing in that front office. They are professionals, and their choice was to go with another quarterback who they think could be an upgrade over Justin. That's what we came to talk about. And that's the point. With the quarterbacks that are there, is it going to be an upgrade? Is it going to be too much pressure for Caleb Williams or whoever it might be? That's number one. But there's also other options out there, kids. Like we still what do we have here? We got the first pick. We got 9. We got 75 and 122. You know what else? We also have picks next year, which are in the first. We got a first rounder, 2 second rounders, a third, a fourth, and 3 6. Could there be could a situation play out that favors some moving around with some of that future draft capital to get back into some now picks today?
Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like you're. I use this analogy a fair amount too much, but you're biting off the nose to spite your face, right? You're sacrificing next year for this year, whereas you could have done certain things to bolster both years, and that hasn't been done. So I don't. Yes, he can always trade capital from next year, package it and do some things. He could package those things and trade for a veteran quarterback. He could package those things and trade for, again, more capital for to fill holes this season. I just don't. Let me rephrase. I don't want him to do that. I hope he retains as much capital as he possibly can to, again, continue the build of this team. This is a guy who came here and specifically said that he was going to build through the draft. And right now we've got basically 3 picks in this coming draft. And if we continue to sacrifice capital, it's starting to smell like another guy named Ryan. That's where I'm at.
Go ahead. Do you have something on that, Keith?
No, man. I'm good.
Because all right. So what about this scenario? Tradable players right about now in order to get something. I think we don't have guys that are tradable other than I think possibly Tevin Jenkins, possibly Khalil Herbert, or somebody like that. And I don't know what you can get for those pieces. What I'm worried about is there's still holes, and we only got 4 picks left after Caleb Williams or whoever the quarterback is. That's what worries me. And I'm just trying to imagine a scenario that they can kind of recoup some of that capital. I don't know how they get it back right now. I don't like the situation because I still think that we still got some stuff to take care of, especially up front. And at the end of the day, whoever that quarterback is, whether it's Caleb or Jaden Daniels or whoever it is, you're going to still need that line to be shored up for him to be able to perform and not go out there and not mess this whole thing up. And so that's just what I'm looking forward to. And by the way, Illinois Jones, I don't know what I said or did to lose your subscription or what I'm saying or doing right now, talking about an agenda. I'm talking about we've moved on from Justin Fields and what's going to happen, whether or not we get Caleb Williams or Dayton Daniels. I don't know what you mean by me trying to move some kind of agenda, man. If I lost a subscription that easy, then you wasn't never with us in the first place. So I'll just say that. But go ahead, kid. You got anything to say behind it?
I kind of meant to. I got a couple things to say. First one is we just signed a defensive end, guys. We just signed Byron Cowart. Thanks for pointing that out in the chat, Barry Lissimo. As always, you are a friend to the channel, and we love and respect you. Just kind of taking a quick look at Byron Cowart. Pretty average defensive end from the Houston Texans. I give him average. Just some of the stats I've got here. 2022, he had 12 combined tackles. In 2020, he had 27 total tackles, 1 sack, and a pass defended. That's 27 years old, been in the NFL since 2019, played in 36 career games. So those are some of the quick highlights I was able to scoop up on Byron. Sounds like we're just going to have a pretty sound rotation at the defensive end position across the board. So that's my take. I think we can sort of move away from that starry-eyed idea of getting Chase Young at a cost-effective rate or anything like that. It sounds like Poles is going bargain basement for the defensive end position. And again, in my opinion, that's all right. As long as we've got a decent rotation on the other side, hopefully that Tez effect continues on. So I'm going to try and make sense of Illinois Jones. Illinois Jones has been sort of going through the chat here, really expecting us to directly interact with him. He says, this isn't an open conversation. Well, yeah, bro, it's a podcast.
Who's this?
Don't ignore me, Illinois Jones. I'm just trying to scroll through Illinois to figure out where he was and what the issue was, because I noticed it and I wanted to address him, and I even reached out and said, "Hey, look, I'll address your situation," but I can't remember really what his beef was. But I honestly, I don't think you guys have any right to evaluate his character. Have you had a chance to meet him? I'm not sure if anybody's really talking about anybody's character on this.
About his character. What is he talking about? Nobody said
well,
anything
this
about
is
this young man's character.
Well,
I think this is where we were with it, though.
Well, I think he's talking about me talking about his emotional maturity, which is
okay. Well, maybe.
And let me
That
clarify
was many shows ago. What are you talking about?
Let me clarify. I've said that a while, man. I've been watching the kid for a couple years, and I will clarify that for you. Just watching him over, I keep telling people I'm I'm MHP, a mental health professional. I'm a mentor and a youth counselor. I've done it all in that line of work, and I'm not saying that I know for exact, what his issues are, but I do know this, that you can see it from a distance. Some things you can see up close and personal, and some things you can see it from a distance as well. And he's got he's as far as that goes, there's no question about it. Him and Justin Fields are like night and day when it comes to that. And I'm not saying that in a way to cast aspersions on him, but he's just got a long way to go when it comes to growing up. I have no issues with
it. But you can't even say that, like, realistically. And I'll give Illinois Jones a little bit of credit on that.
Can you let me finish, kid?
I might not have, but you're getting deeper into your personal evaluation of the character of a human being you've never met, and that's Illinois Jones's point, and I have to say it's a fair point. From what you see, you don't necessarily like it. From what I see, I'll agree with you there, but I don't know the kid, so I'm not going to cast any aspersions, right? I'm not going to cast any judgment there to say how I feel his mental character is at all. What I have said, though, is that, again, being a man who's made $11 million over the course of his college career, he's had to deal with scrutiny and the public eye a little bit differently than the rest of those kids. So in that respect, even though, yes, he was crying in his mama's lap, and you know what I mean, even though that might potentially show a lack of maturity to some, I think that the spotlight being thrust on him in the way that it has been puts him in a position where he's kind of had to deal with it a little bit differently than everybody else. So I hope he grows and is able to handle that in a mature way. But as far as Illinois is concerned, I think the real issue here is that what's happened is this has become, and this I'm going to try not to be political here again, but this has become a cult of personality. If you're familiar with the term or even the song from the 80s, this is a cult of personality. So everybody has sort of chosen their sides. Justin Fields, Calebwilliams. Some folks said, I don't want to have anything to do with either one of those cults. I'm part of the MHJ cult, or I'm part of the Jaden Daniels cult. There's cults out there. I honestly don't care who they choose to be the quarterback of this team, as long as he's nurtured for success. Once more, this is not about a cult of personality. I'm not going to judge again one guy versus the other, because it's not for me to judge. That's really for ryanpoles and this scouting staff to judge. I'm just going to sort of see what I see and put it out there for you guys to make determinations off of. And that's really what Nomad's doing, to give Nomad credit for his angle. He's looking at what he's seeing. Again, being a mental health professional, he's looking at it a little bit differently than most others might. So again, don't hold him to task for that. Take it for what it's worth. But once more, cult of personality. If you move away from the personalities, take a step back for a second, forget Caleb, forget Jaden, forget Justin, forget MHJ, and look at the Chicago Bears organization. Do you have faith in their ability to nurture a brand spanking new quarterback after watching what they did with a brand spanking new quarterback just now? That's the real question at hand. And if you do, bro, I'm giving it to them spoon fed so that they can look at just what they've just witnessed over the past 3 years. Like, you might be a brand new Bears fan watching this. Maybe you didn't watch what happened to Mitch Trubisky. Good old J2K a little while ago just listed a bunch of them. It's like, it's not just 2 times. It's like 5 times in a row now, right? In my lifetime, it's more like 8 times in a row, right? It's not a cult of personality, guys. Don't get like Caleb called, Justin called. Great. Take us to task for being wrong for selecting a side in either scenario. Where my stance was, I never took a side. I don't care who throws the ball here. I just want them to be successful. I want them to actually develop a kid. I want to have faith in the organization that I follow and I love. And I don't. And that sucks.
Well, I'm gonna say this, man.
Hold on, no, man. Let me chime in, man. Honestly,
Go ahead, bro.
Because with this is something that we've got to address first and foremost. We have been saying since I've been a part of the show for the past month and a half that we have never targeted anybody regarding talent and or personality. This is a show that is set up for free thinkers. We are in the age of information. Anything you want to know, you can research, you can watch, you can tune in, you can do whatever it is to do whatever evaluations and make whatever determinations you want to do. You are free to do that. I'm sorry for those in the chat that feel like if we don't agree with you or we're not speaking to you directly with regard to how you're thinking that we should be thinking, I'm sorry. Last I checked, we are all adults. We all put our pants on one leg at a time. We are all free thinkers. We all have access to the same information, period. So with that being said, Kedz, Nomad, nor myself or anybody else that's been on this panel, even as a guest, has ever attacked that young man's character. Now, but understand this, the media, national and local, has put a particular label on this young man. So based on that, last I checked, per the internet, whether it's social media or anything else, unless you're living in a glass house, don't cast no stones. For the simple fact, I guarantee you all have said something about somebody, whether it's somebody that's playing sports or somebody just a regular walking individual, and you may not deem it as judging, but oh yeah, you've judged. So let's stop it with the whole idea that all of a sudden now, oh, we can't talk about this person because of that. Because last I checked, he's a Heisman Trophy winner. Well, based on that alone, much is given, much is required. It's just that simple. So right, either he be an adult and we all be adults and deal with this the way it's supposed to be, and agree to disagree at times. And I'm just putting it like that because what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to walk on eggshells based off of what I think somebody wants me to think. I'm going to speak on what I believe in, what I stand on. I can be right, I can be wrong. Either way, I wear that armor and I'm true to myself. Period.
All right. Well, we even gave this whole thing a little too much energy in the first place, man. It's not. I'm glad everybody clarified themselves, and hopefully we all understand each other. It's not about besmirching somebody's character at all. What people come here to do is to listen to football talk and football analysis. And when it came down to it, it was just me giving my judgment from afar. You know what I mean? And that's just what I believe, and you can take it for what it's worth for you. Ain't nothing that I want to sit here and argue with nobody about. But what's more pressing to me is, sometimes I get to thinking about, and this is just thinking about Caleb, or any rookie that we would have coming through here. It's the pressure that the media would put these young rookies, that Kedz was talking about this the other night, and how fair or unfair that might be, or it's going to be for whoever that rookie is. They are pretty nasty around here. They're pretty nasty in our media circle. And that's what worries me about whether or not that he can tolerate, given what I know from afar about him, can he stand up to that? I think he'd be fine on the field. I think he's out there in Oklahoma. There's really almost no bigger stage to play on than out there. And that's good. And so I just worry about how the media will treat him, and will they give him the opportunity to, and the time and space to get it right. I don't think they will, man. And that's worrisome.
Well, they definitely, and in that respect, you're wearing your heart on your sleeve, right? You're between me and you, although we're on a live podcast here, you are articulating it the opposite way. You know, I wish I could say it differently, but I know what you're saying, because I have the exact same fear. This media, this fan base is just toxic as all sin. And I hope this kid has thick enough skin to manage it. And I don't think that all of these guys are, have skin thick enough to manage it. So I will have to say, even though we've seen Caleb turn around and say, "Oh, I don't want to speak to the media," sometimes I wish that our quarterbacks and players would do that in today's world in the NFL. I kind of wish they would just, forget you guys. I don't have time for you guys. I'm upset about this particular loss, and I'm not doing it right now. Maybe that's wrong of me, but I'm not going to hold that against Caleb. Again, I think that Caleb, unfortunately, is probably the one kid who has experienced some of the media frenzy that he's about to walk into in Chicago. And, with that being said, I think he'll be able to manage it and handle it. It's an interesting situation for him to walk into, just given the way that quarterbacks, coaches, etc., have just been, run in and out of this city. Like it's crazy. But once more, J2K was backing me up in the chat there, and a couple folks in the chat were saying, "But dude, if you live in the past, you're gonna miss the optimism of the future." And I feel you. Like there's optimism. There's reason to be optimistic. Reason to be optimistic. Juggy Nuggy, big ups to you. You blasted a couple things in the chat that really made me, think about the optimism there. And there is reason for optimism. He's built a really solid squad around this kid, whoever that turns out to be, likely Caleb Williams. But there is a solid squad for him to command. So there's optimism there. Now that I've said that, tell me what the definition of insanity is.
Repeating things, expecting a different result.
Yeah, that's the definition of insanity, guys. So if you don't know that you're repeating the cycle, you're just going to repeat it. So J2K, thanks to you, bro. Because basically what J2K says is, if you don't know your past, you ain't going to know your future. And that's a fact.
Well, our boy, the SuperBack, just decided to come out.
Hey,
we just
SuperBack!
We was trying to get him. We was ringing his doorbell.
He's back.
Ringing his doorbell.
Super
His mom said, "He's cleaning the room. Come back in 15 minutes."
Hey, don't piss off moms. I couldn't piss her off, man. Are you serious? She's gonna ground me. She threw a chunkle at me like, "I got a podcast to do." No, you don't. I was like, all right. I was like, "Sorry guys, I can't come out and play."
How was the trip, buddy?
Man, it was well needed. It was great yesterday and Saturday. More yesterday. I laid out and just relaxed, man. Just laid out by my man's pool. Jumped in, laid out, jumped in, laid out. Man, it was really, really relaxing. I am very, very I'm fully charged, baby. I am ready to go. I'm fired up. I'm ready to roll. There's a lot of stuff that I got to do. A lot of stuff I got to do, man. I'm ready to roll, and I'm ready to attack it, man. I'm ready to go.
How was the Tito's?
Tito's was very tasty.
Hey, so what? How was the food out there, man? What did you get into?
So we didn't do. I forgot the name of the place we went to. So when one of my guys, Paul PLR, picked me up because my boy couldn't pick me up, he had to work. The guy Paul picked me up. We stopped at this restaurant, a fast food restaurant, which was pretty good. And then what was Thursday night? We went out to dinner, and then
bless you, bro.
Thank you. We went out to dinner at a nice little sports bar that we had gone to before, which was cool. We went out to dinner. We went out to lunch the next day. Had a steak for lunch. Then he made steaks for dinner last night. Some red wine, some mushroom ravioli. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
man.
It was good.
I'm pissed off. I
just ate, and you just made me hungry all over again.
Man, it was a nice big old New York strip. It was a thick New York strip.
See, this is just payback for them donuts, isn't it? Is that what this is?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
He's just kicking us all with ding ding.
Ding 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 ding.
and we watched dude, we watched Raw too, and they kicked him in the ding ding. Because it's my guy from high school. So like obviously we're the same age. So we grew up with Eddie Murphy, Delirious, Eddie Murphy Raw. And it was funny. His wife was just like, why don't you just turn the volume down and just say it yourselves? We just took, because we knew every word, basically line for line. So yeah, it was good, man. I'm glad to be back. Sorry I couldn't get here earlier. So my mom was at her aunt's house. I had to do that. I had to pick her up, and my mom was like, I don't want to go. I want to eat here. So my aunt had to cook. I'm like, I got a podcast. And but I was like, all right, cool, mom's, no worries. So we had some. My aunt made us some it's called albóndigas, meatballs, some meatball soup. Woo. So I'm doing good, man. I'm fired up right now. Then I was able to listen to you guys on the way home. So it was about a 30-minute ride from my aunt's house home here. And I was able to listen to you guys, and yeah. So I'm ready to roll, ready to jump in wherever you need me.
So we're talking about the pressurized environment that and Shawn, we've been in the past 24 to 48 hours, man. We pretty much have had to exercise this demon of Justin Fields and the feelings of he's not here anymore, and
right.
I feel like it's time to bury that hatchet and start looking forward. And I'm trying to do that here, but it ain't always easy, because people want to pull you back into it, and they want, as soon as you get out, they want to pull you back in and all that, man. But I think the pressurized environment for Caleb Williams is the one. There's two things I worry about with him in regards to that pressure. Not just the pressurized environment the media will put him under the scrutiny, but that offensive line ain't where it needs to be yet. And we only got 4 draft picks, man. That worries me, bro. That really does. If that's going to be the quarterback, I'm going to rally behind him and give him all my support. And I'm going to be strong behind him, as strong as I was behind Justin Fields. You can trust and believe that. But I do worry about, and I don't care who it is that comes in here, whether it's him, Jayden Daniels, the pressurized environment and the expectations to win right now. With a pretty stacked team for a rookie coming in, usually a first round, the first pick of the draft is coming to a pretty tore up team, and he's got a tough situation to deal with. Not this one. He's got some pieces to work with, man. But what do you think about the pressurized situation?
A lot of pressure. You got to go 10 wins. We had 7 wins and should have had 9 or 10 last year. You've upgraded the defense. You've upgraded the offense. All right, I disagree with you. We got offensive line help. We got a starting offensive center. All right, we have a backup, a guy. So 2 guys are basically going to fight that out. We're good with the guard situation. We're good with the right tackle situation. We signed another left tackle. We signed a couple of linemen. So we got people. So our offense is set. We got a top 10 tight end. This is the most talented team, a number 1 quarterback, number 1 overall pick, who's a quarterback, has ever stepped into in the history of the NFL. So you go from 7 wins. Justin was out 4 games. You go from 7 wins. We should have had 9 to 10 wins last year. And you upgrade a team. There's no, oh, well, let's give them the same. No. Not when you come with a team this stacked. When you come with a team this stacked, name me first of all, you have guys who've been with the same team for 4 or 5 years who don't have 2 number 1 receivers, 2 1,300 plus yard receivers. Okay, and a top 10 tight end. You don't have that, and an upgrade at running back. Okay, so everything is upped, and which is it's shocking to me when people say, well, you got to give him the same leeway. No, Justin Fields came in running for his life. This dude ain't going to come in running for his life. You came in with a guy who didn't know how to develop quarterbacks. Well, Nagy may know how to develop quarterbacks. We don't know, because we didn't know that because Justin Fields had to run his whole first year. And then his whole second year so we don't know, but we've upgraded the offensive line. We brought in a guy who has a history of developing quarterbacks. So there's the rope that people want to give Caleb or whoever's coming in there. It's a short rope. And if it is Caleb, it's a lot shorter than whoever else, because this is the generational talent. Everyone's pushing generational. Okay, well, you got 2 Pro Bowl receivers, stud Pro Bowl receivers, top 10 tight end. I just told you all the upgrades we had in the offense, and a defense. One of the best defenses in the NFL. Okay, so hopefully we're not going to blow leads like we did last year. Hopefully that shouldn't be an issue. So if we get up, we should be able to close it out. So, hey, no, this is the man's game. Ain't that whatever people are saying? Oh, it's a results driven game. Okay, well, whoever steps in here is stepping in with a team that no other number one overall pick as a quarterback has ever stepped into. Don't you think Troy Aikman would have loved to have stepped into this? Although it worked out for him pretty well. Or what about Peyton Manning his first year? Think about the other quarterbacks in their first year and how much they got beat up. This guy ain't gonna get beat up. This guy is not going to get beat up. This guy, the offensive coordinator, likes to run 13 personnel. All right, you're like, damn, 3 tight ends? Yeah, 3 tight ends. Or he'll run 22 personnel. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things that this next quarterback is going to be stepping into. You should do better. So, which staff members can develop a quarterback? No, none of them ever started. Who's the guy who can develop a quarterback? Is Shanewaldron. I don't know if you haven't paid attention or saw what happened to Geno Smith, but Geno Smith was basically a journeyman quarterback. Okay, gets under the tutelage of Shanewaldron. Man, Pro Bowl, contract extension, boom. So we got there. That's the person who can develop, which is why all of us thought that Justin was staying, because this is not a move that you make to bring in a rookie quarterback, and apparently it was. So I think the pressure is on. I wonder how the media is going to be. I really do, because they push this agenda. They push Caleb. So if it is Caleb and he struggles, do they jump on him? Because now that's their guy. Because now they're going to look like Jamokes and say, well, this is the guy we wanted, but now he's struggling, and now should we take it easy on him? I don't know. I really don't know, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I really wouldn't be surprised if they did, if they're not as scathing and indicting as they were with Justin. Even today's Rick Tellender, is still taking shots at Justin. All right, let him go, man. Let it be. The Bears have moved on from him. Okay, cool. No need to go kick a horse when he's down, or kick a guy, or talk shit about him when he's not even here. Pardon me. He's not even here, and you're still, we weren't going to win anyway. So, come on, man. Like, this is the type of disrespect we're talking about. You could have just said, hey, you know what? We could have just focused on the new quarterback and not really gone back and kicked dirt on the old quarterback. But you know what? That's some of the media. That's some of the newspaper columnists. And I listened to one this morning on the Score. Same thing. It's like let it go. So we'll see. I don't know, Nomad, about that pressure. How much pressure they're going to put on him? Are they going to give him leeway because he's their guy? He's the one that they pushed. And so, well, he should grow. Well, yeah, okay. What you look at this situation. So I have no idea, man. I really, really don't. And I would not be surprised if they give him more leeway than normal.
Well, how about that? Well, let's go to a station ID real quick, and then we'll get right back to it on the other side.
The best Chicago Bears content anywhere. Catch Nomad Live pregame 1 hour prior to kickoff, and Nomad at Night postgame, and every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central on all the most popular streaming platforms, and only on the Nomad Network.
That's right. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe both here at the Nomad Network and over on Sports Zone Chicago.
Yeah.
For both, please. We will really appreciate it. And let me tell you guys something. I know that it's been a bitter battle between the differences. If you help me out with the chat, please, kids, that'd be great. I know it's been bitter rivalry between people that wanted to see Justin stay here and the people that want to move on and draft Caleb. I want to tell you one more time before we move to start talking about some other things here. I want to tell you guys what's inside my mind and inside my heart. So long as Justin was here, and I thought and I believed in what he brought to the table, I was going to stand up for him until he was not a Bear. I'd have done it for any other quarterback on the team that we ever had. I felt strongly about him. Some of you guys felt differently about it. Guess what? It ended up being that they thought that we can get a better quarterback, and we don't have Justin anymore. What I want to tell you guys is, don't take that the wrong way, because we're going to support Caleb Williams or whoever the quarterback is. We're going to put great Bears content out regardless whether Justin Fields is here or not. I know the feelings are still there because we spent months going back and forth about the whole thing, but you guys got to get to a point. And I'm not telling you guys when you need to get to that point, but we got to get to a point where we can go ahead and just push that out of the way. We don't have Justin Fields anymore. The front office thought different. They agreed with some of you guys out there. And I guess we're going to get another quarterback. I'm good with it. I'm a big boy. I can handle all of that. But to keep going on and on with this thing, man, if you guys want to do that, then do it. But I'm not, just know this, I'm not going to engage with it because I'm ready to move on. We're getting another quarterback. What's it going to be like when he gets here? What kind of pressurized environment is he going to step into? What kind of leeway is he going to be given? That's what I prefer to talk about. You know, whether that's how it's fair or unfair to a rookie quarterback, I feel a couple of different ways about it. He's going to be expected to execute and win right away. So is his coaching staff. Mm-hmm. And so if it doesn't happen, you can trust and believe the vitriol will be coming. It will be coming right away. And so I feel like I hate that for any rookie. I don't care who it is. I hate that for any rookie. So whether it's Caleb Williams, I do not hate that kid. I think he's really good. I think what's expected of him could be a little bit too much, but we're going to find that out. But I digress, fellas. You guys go ahead.
Yeah, now we're back. We're back to where we were before the SuperBack joined up. So I'm glad that you got the ability to sort of touch on that because those expectations are going to be high, and I don't blame those for keeping them. Some of the folks in the chat were like 10 wins. No, we don't like. We are not going to hold them to an expectation of 10 wins. And I said playoffs. So realistically, I think 10 wins might be a little bit better than what I was saying. I think it's a little bit more fair than what I was saying. It's basically just 3 wins more than Justin got last year. It's not an extreme. It's not a ridiculous bar, right? In my opinion, I think it's a pretty fair bar, right? So we'll leave the bar in and around there. I would like to think that again, the team that they've built and surrounded this kid with should be caliber enough to make it to a 10-win season coming, moving forward. But to agree with Nomad and sort of try to push things forward, this is not once as a collective, as collective Bears fans, we figure out, collective Nomaniacs, Zoniacs, figure out that this is not really a cult of personality. Like the cult of personality piece died Saturday, like that's dead now. So now we're squarely looking at 3 things. Can the Chicago Bears develop a quarterback? SuperBack just gave you some optimism in that respect by sort of touting Shanewaldron. Shanewaldron has been known to do this. Again, fantastic situation for Caleb Williams to walk into. Is it better than Cliff Kingsbury in Washington? I don't know, but Shane did some good stuff with Geno Smith recently, so I'm impressed by that. I think that's a place where we can be optimistic and hope that success may well be had. But me and Keith went back and forth on this yesterday. If you get fired and somebody else steps into your job, for the most part, they're going to hold the same responsibilities as you and the same expectations as you. The only difference, and this is where my heart gets into it, is that onboarding is important. And I believe that where the NFL is failing all of these young rookie quarterbacks is in the fact that they have not sat them, given them the opportunity to learn how to read defenses, know the offense, know the offensive scheme, know the language, and exact it, gain comfortability and connection, build that rapport with their wide receiving core, their tight ends, their running backs. Like that's how you build a team. That's why Jordan Love is successful. It's why Aaron Rodgers was successful. And the list of those guys who sat and learned behind the quarterback is much longer than you would think, and it includes all the greats, including Joe Montana, including Tom Brady, Brett Favre. Name a solid quarterback for the most part, he sat. I think exceptions are Dan Marino. Marino started 6 games in. He sat for 6 games. So did John Elway, sat for 6 games. But other than that, the superstar great QBs that of legend all sat for at least a year to figure things out, and then they got it going, including Patrick Mahomes. Everybody wants to compare this kid to, but wait, Joe Burrow went to a Super Bowl. That makes Joe Burrow an anomaly. CJ Stroud had a great season last year. That makes CJ Stroud an anomaly. Let's not base the rule on the exception. Hopefully, with respect to the way that the Bears have developed quarterbacks, right now our hopes is that Caleb Williams will be the exception.
Guys, before anybody jumps in there, how about kids? If you don't mind, pull up some of the start comments. We got a bunch of questions. If you see one that's particularly aimed at you, you can go ahead and answer it. But otherwise, we'll just go around the horn and take turns answering some of our viewers.
Rock and roll. So Slick Sophistication, who's always representing with us basically on a daily basis. Thanks for kicking it with us, Slick. Nomad, please ask, what should be the Bears' expectations? What should be the season expectations for the Bears? I think Poles will be fired by Kevin Warren.
We answered that one earlier.
And we answered this one. I just want to get it through and give Slick his love. He wanted to keep Fields. So we touched on this one, Slick. Again, thanks for kicking it. Hopefully we gave you a little bit of perspective on that. 10 Bears. 10 Bears. 10 Bears, you're all over Twitter. You're a mad Twitter psychopath, and I love it. Keep up the good work on the app there, bro. Question: all things given, USC had 3 straight top 10 recruiting classes, and he didn't win anything. So, how much talent it takes for him to win the biggest games? So, that's the one area where when you take Caleb Williams' college career, you take Justin Fields. I'm going back to the cult of personality. Just bear with me for a minute, guys. I'm sorry, but when you take the two guys' college careers and you look at Justin, you're like, oh snap, Justin won the big games. Caleb didn't. That's probably the one place where you can find a little bit of a difference, or you can really zero in on how Justin could be that better quarterback versus that better talent versus Caleb. But honestly, we're just going to have to wait and see how he does in the big games. That's it. And so far, by way of expectation, we are just hoping and praying that we can get this kid to a big game. So let's keep it locked right there and hope we can get to some big games this coming season. Ramses Ronis.
My bad. Just take this down. You wanna put it up?
I got you. Ramses Roses. So, Ramses, I haven't seen you in the chat very often. Thanks for joining us today. Love the first name. That's some,
how about
Egyptian pharaoh business. Say what?
You want to let Keith or Shawn answer that one?
Oh, sure. Any chance they still trade down? What do you guys think?
Any chance they still trade down? I'm going to be honest. I would say if Poles is true to who he has been thus far and wanting to accumulate picks to continue to just build out the roster and get the absolute best talent that he can add to the roster, the possibility is yes, but I don't know if he will, only because of what's expected of him based on having that number 1 pick right now. So I don't know if that answers the question. Is there a chance? Yes. Will he? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, there's a chance. Of course there is. I mean, he could pull the okey doke and go draft Jaden Daniels, or even crazier, draft JJ McCarthy's a dude. There's a whole lot of stuff you can do. All right, you have the number 1 pick, and just because that doesn't mean you have to draft Caleb. Doesn't mean you have to do that. All right, and believe me, the other half of Bears Twitter is going to blow their load and lose their mind if they don't draft Caleb. If they trade that number 1 pick and go get a haul and draft Jaden Daniels or JJ McCarthy, they can do that, get a lot more picks, and you could talk about, Nomad, you said you didn't feel comfortable with this offensive line. You could trade back and maybe with your first pick or your 9th pick, get your Joe Alt, get your Olu if one of those guys are still there. You know what I mean? So there's trade back. Yeah. Ryan Poles has shown his first 2 drafts. He is not afraid to trade back and get a haul. And if he feels he can win with a Jaden Daniels, okay. If he feels he can win with a JJ McCarthy, a Bo Nix, a Penix, okay. Or so that's on the table as well.
All right, kids, you want to get the next one?
Absolutely. So before I do Ramsey's Roses, clearly that's not the name that you want us to call you. Let me know in the chat what we should be referring to you as. I blast put your government name on blast, but that's the name that comes up with the chat. So I'm sorry. So let me know what we should be calling you, and I'll call you the right stuff moving forward. Sophisticated Thoughts, again, another original No Maniac, always representing with us. Plot twist. Would the Chargers and the Bears do a trade for Justin Herbert, number 37 pick, and any next year's second round pick for the 2024 first overall pick in the draft? You know what? Let me let these two guys mull this one over because it's not out of the question.
Go,
Keith.
either one of you two guys, Keith or Shawn.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know, and maybe they do, but I don't think they will. I just don't think that they will. But again, Ryan Poles has shown he's got his plan, and no one really knows what it is, and it's possible. It's really possible, but I don't think it's on the table. And guys, any scenario you ask us is on the table. All right, that's a possibility. So I mean, don't say, well, could the Bears consider this? Well, yeah, of course the Bears could consider this or this or this. Everything's open, and Ryan Poles has shown that he's willing to do what he's going to do. He's willing to stick to his plan, the plan that we really don't know what it is. So, but likely, I don't see it. So you're saying that Jim Harbaugh is going to give up on Herbert and try and get. Obviously, you're insinuating trying to get McCarthy. I don't know.
That would be the insinuation, and it's crazy like a fox, or is it crazy like a Harbaugh? Huh? Hey, yeah.
You know what? But with that being said, I would think that Harbaugh took the job because he had a chance to work with Justin Herbert.
Me
myself,
too.
Personally, But again, it's the NFL. Anything is possible, man. Anything's possible. But I think Harbaugh took the job with the anticipation of working with Justin Herbert, so that way that's one area that he didn't have to put a lot of attention on, and he could focus on other areas of the team. Because one thing about Harbaugh, he's gonna definitely build it from the trenches out. So that's why I think if anybody's on his radar, it's Joe Alt. But with regard to Justin Herbert, I think he took the job because he said, hey, there's a quarterback there who has all the intangibles that I need and that I can also help continue to develop. That's why he took the job.
Well, I you know what? You got any more questions?
Yeah, I got a oopsie daisy. I got a couple more, so hold it just a second, man. Here we go.
I'm just not sure about anything anymore about what might happen next. Totally unsure. He's got me off balance. I ain't gonna kid you.
Hey, real quick, just before you do anything, the Saints are going to sign Chase Young.
Yeah,
he's going to New Orleans.
Say that one more time.
The Saints are going to sign Chase Young.
So we can take him off the radar. That sucks.
I'll try and see what we can do to get some, or Chris, while I'm rocking here, see if you can find out some contract details on that Chase Young deal, please. So we'll move over to the next start chat, next No Maniac chat.
Talking to
Andrew Barnes. How many rookie quarterbacks have made the playoffs in the past 20 years, Kedz? CJ Stroud was in a unique situation last year in a terrible division. However, our division has 2 playoff teams. The answer to that is not a lot. I'll have to do that's a research project. I'll have to do some research on that one, and maybe tomorrow I'll have some level of an actual answer for you on the rookie quarterbacks that have made it just to the playoffs.
Yeah, but you can't. You're not getting when you're dealing with rookies. You're dealing with this rookie, whoever it may be, is stepping into a situation, the best situation that a rookie quarterback has ever stepped into in the history of the NFL. I mean, you don't. Again, I mentioned that earlier. DJ Moore and Keenan Allen are your wide receivers. All right, you just upgraded the offensive line. You got a center, so now the line isn't going to break down in the middle as it did so many times in the past 2 or 3 or 4 years. So you have some comfort. There's no rookies on the offensive line anymore. You don't have any more rookies that you have to say, well, maybe let me kind of sort of. No, they're all veterans now. So, and the most important thing, you've upgraded the defense. You got Pro Bowlers at every level.
Chase Young signed 1 year, $13 million, fully guaranteed.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's money we should.
Remember when they asked me in the chat what would Chase Young sign for, and I said 13. Remember that, and everybody's like, "Where do you get that number from?" I don't know. It was just in my head. Lo and behold, what happened?
I said if we could get him for a year deal under 18 mil, I would sign that contract too. So that's well south of 18. I mean, I would have been interested in bringing him in as opposed to the 2 defensive ends that we did bring in. Keep the depth we have on the team, and away we go. But here we are, not upset by it. Good luck to Chase Young and where he's going. Andrew Barnes, I'll see what I can do to really touch on this specific question a little bit more. It's a tricky question. Because of what Shawn sort of laid out with respect to our team. I then have to sort of preface every rookie coming in and what their situation was coming into the playoffs. Plus, odds of the playoffs are much higher, right? Because it's a multi-game case scenario, right? So, a bit of a tough one for me to crunch right now, but I'll get back to you on that one too. I owe you one, and if I don't get it to you, drive me crazy in the chat tomorrow. J2K, our guy, our number 2 no maniac, because number 1 is clearly Plank. Nomad and crew, do you guys expect a vet QB, Ryan Tannehill, to be signed? And if not, is this the best path for the team for a rookie quarterback to start day one?
And
he's got to start.
Go ahead, guys. Okay, Nomad, you go, man. Go for it.
If you don't mind. I thought Drew Lock would be that veteran he's talking about that would have gotten targeted. It made more sense to me to go after the quarterback you got known experience with, but maybe he would have cost too much for us. I don't know. Maybe that was the hiccup, but it wouldn't surprise me if they brought in. They do have a veteran quarterback. He's not a guy that's played a lot of games. I forget the kid's name. What's his name?
Quarterback they signed.
Ripien. Brett Ripien's son.
Yep. Brett Ripien.
Yeah, they have him, but teams usually go into camp with 3 quarterbacks, on the roster. So it wouldn't surprise me if another veteran got signed. Who that might be? Ryan Tannehill's a good one. He knows the offensive scheme. He's experienced in it, so that does make a lot of sense. J2K.
I'm right with him. Like I would, again, because I don't think Caleb should be playing right away. I think he should be sitting. I would have gone and made a move like this much earlier into the offseason. Just brought a guy, like, I'll be frank, I would dump Justin and got somebody earlier if that was what I was going to do. I also highly think that ryanpoles took this job to draft Caleb Williams just by way of timing. That's like him getting into the GM cycle when he did. He probably had a good idea what quarterbacks were coming up over the course of the next 2 years. So that's just me. I'd always kind of thought that, but here we are, and I do think that he's going to draft Caleb at this coming draft. But we'll see how it all shakes out, bro. We'll see how it all shakes out. One more super chat from my guy Barrelissimo, or one more special starred comment. And I got a kick out of it, so I had to throw it up here. Poles trades the number one pick overall. Who should be publicly flogged first, Parkins or Cap?
Cap.
I thought
no, it's the neck. It's the neck. I'm getting
Cap.
No, it's
Cap.
the ostrich. I'm getting that ostrich, man.
No, I'm getting Cap.
Wow, that's hilarious. Honestly, in the chat,
I'm shooting with a shotgun. Y'all, each one of you guys is shooting with a rifle. I'm gonna shoot with a shotgun, and I'm hitting both.
We moved on, fellas. Remember, we moved on. Move on.
It was just
You're
a
going-
question, Chris. It was just
It
a
was a
question.
question. Answer the question.
You can't say stuff like that, man.
It was a question. It was funny though. It was funny.
Hey,
Anyhow,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was
Yeah.
just I was just gonna say some. Let's give some pleasantries before we get ready to get out of here, kids. Let's start with you, bro, if you don't mind.
No, I definitely don't. No maniacs. Thank you for for sort of giving us the opportunity to work through this situation live on air with you. I know you guys, in many cases, feel the same. Some of you feel quite the opposite, but there's definitely feelings and emotion there. There is Schadenfreude galore. Everybody like, what's he talking about? Why is he talking German? Look up the word, figure out what it means, and you'll get to understand.
Gesundheit.
Yeah, thank you. Bless me. Right, but at the end of the day, lots of Schadenfreude, and it's not really a good thing for anybody to jump into. That being the case, I'm so pleased to have you guys here in support of us, in support of the network, in support of the Chicago Bears, in support of our new coming quarterback. And we're going to continue down that path until, by hook or by crook, we get to the bloody Super Bowl and we win it again. And I'm not going to hold Super Bowl expectations over anybody this coming season, but I definitely have them over the course of the next couple. So let's move down that path. Let's get it. Let's get to it and bear down.
No maniacs and sports owners, once again, thank you for hanging in there with us today. We do appreciate you guys always chiming in with us. SuperBack is good to have you back safely at home, brother. To the guys, the rest of the guys on the panel and in the back room, doing all the tireless work of working with the chat and everything. Thank you again. It's always a pleasure chopping it up with you guys and talking Bear football. We got to remember this, guys. We're all free thinkers, and one thing for sure, and what I love about this is the fact that essentially you're not going to always agree. People are not going to always say what you want to hear. And part of that is it's part of growth. It's part of being adults. We got to learn sometime that, we're not going to always hear what we want to hear and we're not going to always agree with one another. But in the end, as everybody says, impose they trust, and everybody says that they're going to support the logo and support the team no matter what, then that's what we're doing. It's just that simple. With that being said, bear down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I heard you earlier. Illinois Jones is on one today, huh? So he's something is up his craw, and that's fine. What tape?
No, I think he's all right. I think he's all right now.
I don't need you to defend him. And so you know what? So what tape have I ever broke down? Well, first of all, I've been just to give you a little bit of a resume. I was a coach for 15 years. All right, so that was my job for 15 years. All right, so and then transferring to this, I broke down tape for Justin. All right. So now if I have, just because I don't put it out, doesn't mean that I haven't broken it down. I've done this for 15 years. Okay. Actually 17 years, to be honest with you. So not only can I break down tape, but I know what to look for. So yes, if you want some of my credentials, what did I see? I saw a lot of great things, and I saw a lot of things he needs to work on. Okay. And I've never, ever, ever absolved Justin from the things he needed to work on. You can go back a year, 2 years when they got him. I was all in on Justin, but I'd never said he was perfect. And I said there were things he needs to work on. I also said that he needed help working on them, because you don't just fix stuff yourself. Players don't develop themselves. Okay. Otherwise, why have coaches? Okay. I hope that when we move forward, that Caleb is developed. Because as good as Caleb was in college, a lot of that stuff isn't going to fly, which is why I say he's in the best situation, because they got a guy. They just got a guy who has a reputation, or not a reputation. The hell with a reputation. All right, documentation beats conversation all day long. He's already got Geno Smith to a contract extension after being a journeyman. So if you bring a rookie quarterback into that situation, that's phenomenal for that rookie quarterback. That's phenomenal for this offense. That's phenomenal for this team. That's phenomenal for this city. Okay? So the situation he's stepping into is fine. And yes, it might work. It might work, baby. It might work. It might be gangbusters, and Ryan Poles will look like a genius. Okay, and then everyone say, "Well, see, Caleb's this, Caleb's that, Caleb's all this," but it's not necessarily just him; it's the people behind him. And I wish him well. I have no ill will toward this dude at all. Because if he's our quarterback, I want him to win. Okay, so I am a Bears fan, and you know what? I do like Justin Fields, and I on a post that I put, I'm like, hey, good luck moving forward, except when you play the Bears. I hope he does well, except when he plays us.
Well, how about this, fellas? I enjoyed the show, man. It was fun to talk about all this stuff and get it out there in the open. The agreements, disagreements, it's all the same to me and to us. I ain't no need in getting bitter and vitriolic about it. To me, I mean, you guys can come in the show and you guys can have your opinions. We'll show them on the screen. We'll answer questions, any of that stuff, man. Just know this: when you come here, we appreciate if your energy was better. We just trying to, get through the moment just like everybody else and trying to, process what all happened just like everybody else and get to the next thing. And that's a new quarterback. Likely it's going to be Caleb Williams, who will get 100% support here. You know what I mean? 100%. And so that's how I feel about the whole thing. It's to a point where I'm ready to move on. And I don't feel the need to engage in a whole bunch of arguments about the whole thing. It's just not important to me. So we appreciate you guys for showing up and supporting us. Please do not forget to hit the like and hit the subscribe. Tell a friend, family member, just to help us get these subscriptions up, man. Things are going to get a whole lot better than what they are right now. It's just pure speculation right now, and we're just trying to keep up with it and give you guys content while we're trying to do it. And hopefully you guys appreciate it at all, man. But we appreciate it, if there's nothing else. So again, I want to say thank you to everybody that came and showed up, that they're live in this chat, and everybody listening on an audio platform or whatever you stream this content on. We appreciate having you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But before I get out of here, I got to leave you with these famous words: love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Peace, y'all.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Boom.
Yay.